partner may have a really weak minimum response, and you don't want to force your partner to bid 3 hearts or 3 spades and play a 4-3 fit at the 3 level. Does that make sense? So, like sometimes, like you might get an auction like this, like let's say a club. Oops. We don't want an overcall from the opponents here. So let's say the auction goes this way. So you opened a club and partner responded a heart, and now what advancer gives us is a preemptive jump over call of 2 spades. If you double here, that is not a support double. You might have 3 hearts. So it's not like your double denies 3 hearts, but this double shows extra strength. This is partner, I've got better than a minimum opener. May or may not have 3 hearts. Now, of course, if you have 4 hearts, you can do something different, right? So I do think that the double by opener tends to deny 4 hearts, but could have 3. Does it make sense to everybody why this would be the case on this kind of auction here? If you belong in hearts, you'll still get to hearts. If opener has 4 hearts, think about all the things you could do, right? You could raise to 3. You could jump to 4. You could Q-bid 3 spades, right? There are all sorts of other things you could do if you wanted to force to game or invite game in hearts. Yeah, 3 hearts you might do. You might be minimalish and still venture 3 hearts here because you want to show partner the heart fit before they do something like sacrificing spades against you. So I do think double here absolutely denies 4 hearts. You might have 3, but more importantly, you're just saying, hey, I've got a bigger hand. I'm definitely not selling out to 2 spades. But that's not a support double. Because you don't want, and you might have a big hand that doesn't have support at all, right? I mean, what if you have an 18-point hand, but you have a singleton heart? Well, what would you do? Or a small doubleton or something. I mean, you've got to express to partner your extra values. You might be able to Q-bid, but partner might expect some sort of tolerance for their suit if you Q-bid. I mean, if you bid 3 spades here, you're pretty much forcing the game, right? And so without extra values, and so that's the reason is if you just have a minimum opener and you don't have a support double, you just want to pass because you don't want to put partner on the spot and force a 3-heart bid over there in what might be a 4-3 fit. So that's why we don't have the support double in this situation. So basically, if that interference comes in at a high enough level where you can no longer bid, or more specifically, your partner can no longer just make a weak preference back to 2 of your major, then it's not a support double. It's just too risky. It just puts too much pressure on responder when they have, just barely enough to squeak out a response. So. One thing we looked at as I'm going through my list here, we said if you want to penalize, because remember your support double's not going to get left in, it's going to get pulled somewhere. If you want to penalize, your only chance to penalize is to pass and give partner a chance to reopen. This fits in a little bit with what we talked about last week, right? Where we said pretty much all of our conversions happen or all of our penalties happen via conversion. Sometimes you have a really good hand and you don't want to pass and risk that partner may not reopen. So sometimes you have a really good hand, you made it an act somehow, whether that's a Q-bid or an extra strength showing double or something like that, or just bid no trump. Just sometimes you just have to you may want to penalize and you just give up on it because there's no guarantee that you can get there as much as you may want to defend. But if you do want to try penalizing, remember that your penalty is a pass, with the hope that partner can reopen with a double. Remember that if the interference is double, to support, we use redouble. And we saw that on one of the example hands, even though I didn't tell you what it was. Because that'll happen too, right? You open the bidding, partner responds a major, and then the advancer comes in with a takeout double. Even better. This is a very low pressure auction. You get to show 3-card support, and you haven't even left the 1 level yet, right? That's great. We like the support redouble. And an excellent use for redouble, right? Because, you know, why would you ever want a penalty redouble here, right? What would that accomplish? Yeah. I mean, first of all, their double of, you know, your partner's 1 of a major it's not penalty anyhow. And it's not going to get left in, right? So, 1 heart, redouble. You can't beat this. I guarantee my partner can make this contract. They're not going to leave that in. So there's no reason to have a penalty redouble. So redouble, very useful here to show you 3-card support. One last thing, keep in mind that your support double and redouble, even though they are very common, are alertable. So remember, responder, that you are alerting openers double or redouble. Again, you don't have to describe unless asked, but be sure that you're saying alert, because most doubles are not alertable, but this is one that still is. It still is in red on your convention card. Even though it is a very common treatment, it's one that you still have to alert. The alert procedure actually changed on support doubles. When I started playing duplicate, believe it or not, you had to alert the pass, because you had an inference that partner did not have 3-card support. That actually used to be alertable. Fortunately, they took that away and said, you know what? Bridge players may do some really stupid things, but we trust that they'll draw the inference or pick up their opponent's convention card and see support doubles if they want to, and know that opener doesn't have support. Basically, they figured out that, you know, as an opponent, that's on you, right? You've got to be the responsible one to look into that and not make assumptions about a fit or no fit. So if there is no support double, you are on your own to see if the opponents do play support doubles, because they don't have to alert the pass. And that's good, you know, we don't really want to be alerting passes. I mean, that's getting to me, right? I mean, we have enough stuff to worry about with announcements and alerts anyhow. You know, if we're alerting passes, that is really going to muddy the waters even more.
Are sport doubles only for majors or for anything?
I would typically only use it for majors. In theory, if your auction starts a club pass a diamond, and they bid, you know, they overcall a heart or a spade, could you make a support double for diamonds? You could. I generally don't play that. I don't find it very useful. Because if the auction starts a club a diamond and there's basically no chance of us playing in a major, we're hoping that we can play no trump, and if it's a minor suit fit that we get to, we can probably still get there without a support double. Right? So when the auction starts a club pass a diamond, whether there's a major suit overcall or a takeout double for the majors over here, I mean, we already know at this point of the auction we're not playing in a major, right? We've already, you know, to go back to the language of bridge stuff, you know, we've already trimmed down the target contract significantly. We might play in no trump, we might play in clubs, we might play in diamonds, but that's about it. So yeah, I don't find that it has a whole lot of use. I would not typically play it on for that particular auction. Let's look at, I don't think we need to go through all these examples, but let's look at a couple. Let's look at a couple that are different from anything that we've seen on the worksheet. All right, how about this one? Kind of cute hand. 14 point with a good 7-card club suit. All right, so we're all going to open one club, right? Pass. Partner says a spade. And here comes the interference, 2 diamonds. Not a shock since you have a singleton diamond. What do you do? You should double. Yes, I know you have 3 spades and 7 clubs. Do you intend for this auction to stop at 2 spades? No. You are going to bid again. If you know you're going to bid again no matter what, go ahead and make the support number. Because you'll get to describe this here, right? Let's say partner has a fairly weak response and they go back to 2 spades, which they might do with 4 or 5 spades. They might even do it with 6 spades if they had a pretty weak response, right? What are you going to do next? You're going to plan, right? How about bid your clubs? Now, this wouldn't promise 7, but I think it would promise at least a good 6-card suit. But you see what you've done here? You've started to paint a nice picture of your hand. You wouldn't pull 2 spades and offer clubs as a possible place to play unless you had a really good suit. And I think better than, I mean, yes, it's 14 high card points, but don't we all feel like the playing strength of this hand is pretty good? It's a good minimum. You got a singleton in the opponent's diamond suit, king third, a great holding for partner. I mean, now, if we have a game, the tricky question at this stage is, well, what's our best game? If partner has just a little bit extra, a little better than minimum, I can construct a lot of 8 or 9 point hands where partner probably would want to bid 4 spades, or where we would want to be in 4 spades. If partner had 5 of them. On the other hand, what if partner only has 4? Does partner have a diamond stop? Right? We haven't addressed that. Is 3-0 completely out of the picture?
No.
Not necessarily. Could we have a 10 or 11 card club fit? Where, one of those, maybe more rare hands where 5 clubs is the best game.
But what's the next bid? Do you use the Western Q?
Western Q would be available if either of you were to bid 3 diamonds.
I thought Western Q wasn't available when you have already found a major fit. Would we not assume that we have found a major fit?
No.
Well, we found a fit, but it's not necessarily an 8-card fit. But that doesn't mean that Western Q isn't still available.
And I do that
I thought
before
that was one of our
going.
reasons in that paper you gave me. We haven't found a major.
Right. But I've been in not very pretty majors.
But if you want to entertain that idea, let's change this hand just a little bit.
Now,
Now you still started with your support double, but all we did was fill out your club suit and make it essentially a solid 7-card suit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have the jack, but it's close enough to treat as solid.
You could be.
What would be the ideal contract if partner had a diamond stopper? Probably 3-no.
Or more.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so if I had this hand, now, partner wouldn't know just how good my clubs were necessarily, but what if I started with that? Because even if partner can't bid 3-no, guess what? I am carrying on past 3-no with this hand.
And that's asking at that point, right?
It's a Western cue at that point, isn't it?
Right.
I think partner's first priority would be to bid 3-no with the stopper. By virtue of the fact that you are bidding anything, again, over 2 spades, you're saying, yeah, I've got a better than minimum hand, all right? Now, partner may be over here kicking and screaming, right? But if partner has a diamond stopper, they should bid 3-no. What if they don't? I mean, they could, in theory, you know, especially if partner has at least 5 spades, they could always keep going back to spades. All right. Well, would you go ahead and try 4 spades now? I think I would. Because if partner doesn't have a diamond stopper, their points are probably in spades, right?
Would you do that if it's ace, queen, jack?
I'm more prepared to force the game with solid club suit.
Okay.
And if we're gonna run all the clubs, it would probably be nice if we could do that in no trump. But we have to consider that partner may not have a diamond stopper, and we certainly do.
3 spades could still just show a weak hand because
Yeah,
it's first hand.
yeah. Well, and if you want, now at the time that you bid 3 diamonds, partner may suspect that you've got a really good club suit that you haven't shown, but in theory, couldn't you still bid your club suit? Right? Partner has made a couple of very discouraging bids. But like I said, I'm pretty much prepared to force the game with this hand. If partner had 5 spades to the ace queen and nothing else, wouldn't you guys still have a very good shot to make 4 spades?
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably draw trumps and run all your clubs, right? And probably don't have a trump trick to lose. Or what if partner's spades aren't that good? What if partner only has ace 5th of spades and another card somewhere? Who knows? Well, couldn't you play the ace king and then on any 3-2 split, and then if you wanted, you could start running your clubs and they could rough in with their master trump? And I've mentioned this on occasion in the past, but I was like, Karen Walker, when she talked about this in past columns in the bulletin. A really good habit for you to get into is to, while we're still in the auction, envision as best you can how this hand is going to play. That's what I'm envisioning different hands. I'm like, okay, if partner has ace queen 5th of spades and not another card, 4 spades is probably a great contract. What if partner spades aren't that good? What if partner spades are only queen jack 5th and they don't have the ace? Well, they have to have another card somewhere, right? They have to have another card to have responded. Maybe it's the king of hearts, and we don't have a heart loser. Maybe it's the ace of diamonds. Well, if that's the case, then your partner might be able to bid 3-no. Maybe, we can consider all these possibilities, right? One more quick one, and then I do want to take a short break and make sure that we have time to talk about a couple more doubles.
Yeah. That's yours truly.
And the only thing that we've changed here is we're going to introduce bids from both of our opponents. it's a decent hand, you